All right, my friends. So now we have Jane and John. It was spousal. And we have Jane and John when they're both making the same amount of income. So remember that household income was $60,000. In this case, Jane made all the income and John's getting the spousal. In this case, they both made $30,000 of average indexed yearly earnings. Okay, so $60,000 was their household income. In this case, they're dividing 30,000, 30,000. In this case, they're dividing it 60,000 solely for Jane. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. So remember, they're both born in 1960, which means their full retirement age is 67 years old, all right? And that's critical to understand their PIA. So let's start with this one right here. The PIA for Jane, with her $60,000 a year of income, and again, that's already been inflated. It's already been done. We already did that in the last video. So her PIA is $2,137. In this case, John will get spousal income of half that at his full retirement age as well, at 67. So if he takes it later, if he takes it earlier, it'll be reduced, but you don't want to ever take a spousal benefit later because you don't get an increase. So in this case, between them at their full retirement age with their PIA, Jane's PIA and John's spousal benefit, they'll get $3,205 of Social Security a month, which would give them $38,460 a year. All right, so $38,460, divide that by 60,000, and that's a 64% replacement rate if they take their Social Security at their PIA, and that's their at their full retirement age, which is 67. Now, what if Jane defers and takes her delayed earnings credits, all right? Delayed earnings credits. So Jane can say, look, I don't want to take it at 67. I think I'm going to live until I'm 95, so I'll take it at 70 instead. Well, in that case, it still doesn't make sense for John not to take, you have to work the spousal, but just for simplicity, at 70, John will get his spousal benefit will still be a half of Jane's PIA. Now, John cannot get the spousal benefit until Jane files, right? So that's how it works. You can't get a spousal benefit like you used to be able to do before 2015 before your spouse files. So in this case, John's benefit does not grow with delayed earnings credits. Spousal benefits do not grow with delayed earnings credits. There's only primary benefits. In this case, her PIA grows from 2137 to 2650. 2650 is her primary insurance amount, is her delayed earning, her amount benefit with the delayed earnings credits, all right? Because it's 8% a year increase for delaying each and every year for 3 years. So that's it. So her PIA is 2137 when she's 67 years old. She delays until she's 70, and now her benefit will be 2650 because of delayed earnings credits. John's spousal benefit does not increase at all. All right, it's still going to be half of her PIA, always half of the PIA, going like that. So 1,068. So in this case, so between them at 70, their monthly Social Security benefit is 3,717 or 44604. There's a reason I want this to be incredibly important for you to understand. 44604 divided by 60,000, and that's a 74.3% replacement ratio, right? So their gross income is $60,000 while they're working. Wait until 70 to take it, they'll get 75% of that with no other income whatsoever, just Social Security. And we'll write this down because it's a method to my madness here. On the other hand, if we go down, they both made $30,000 a year. Their PIA at 67 is $1,337, which is $2,674 in total monthly benefits. So it's a pretty significant difference between the two there, for sure. And that might be one of the reasons why the ladies at the Center for Retirement Research says 2 income families have less than 1 income family. But I didn't like. I mean, they didn't define that. I'm assuming that's what they're talking about. But B is still, they're like saying you have 2 income families who make the same. It's just, the whole thing is just odd. I think that's what they're saying. At the end of the day, if they had a household income of $60,000, it's better if it's just on one person as opposed to 2 people. That's what they're saying, but they never said that. It's just, the whole thing is weird. Anyway, whatever. So we got 2,674 is their annual or monthly payment, which is $32,000 of Social Security income. All right, so that's going to be about what, a 55%, 32,000 divided by 60. a 53% payout ratio. So here they get half their $60,000 a year median income from Social Security. If they wait until they're 70 and they both get increased benefits, and again, there's no benefit at all for spousal benefit here, none whatsoever, because their income is going to be more by far than half of the spousal benefit, than half the other person's benefit. So spousal benefits in this regard are off, we're not using them. So in this case, they both have 1657 with their 3 years of delayed earnings credits, which is 8% a year. That gives them a total monthly benefit of $33.15. And so at 70, their benefit will be $39,789. We divide that by $60,000, 39879 divided by 60. And that gives them 66.5% payout rate. All right, so every single case, 66.5, 64, 53, and then 74. I mean, so every single case we got a pretty significant payout rate. But watch, all right? So let's do this. I'm going to show you something. This is where it gets real flipping cool, and I think a lot of people overlook this. How do I want to do this? Let's write these down here, my friends. So we got 44. We got 38460, that's 67, and we got 44604 with delayed earnings credits there. All right, so we can get rid of all this stuff here, and there's going to be a huge method to my madness, my friends, that you're going to love when you see what I'm about to do. All right, so here, oh, man, arm still hurts. Yeah, it's been 2.5 weeks and it still hurts. I hope I don't need surgery. That's not going to be good. I'm a big old baby when it comes to pain. All right, so here. Now, $60,000 is their income for Jane. $60,000. We know for a fact, right out the gate, 7.5% of that is coming off that for 7.65 for Social Security and FICA, Social Security, OAS, DI, and HI, minus 7.65%. So that's going to be 55. So they're going to be left with minus FICA 55. Well, no, you know what I want to do? Minus 60,000. Minus 60,000. 4590. That's what it is. So we know for a fact minus 4590 from Social Security FICA tax. All right. We also know for a fact that we're going to say they put 10% a year into the 401k. 10% a year into the 401k. Minus $6,000 401k. Or any amount you want. I don't care. Now, what happens? We take 60,000 minus 6,000. That gives us 54,000 of AGI. 54,000 AGI. Subtract 24,000, we'll just say for simplicity, of standard deductions. Taxable income is $30,000. And for simplicity, the first 20,000 is taxed at 10%. 10%. The next 10,000, 12. All right, so bear with me just a second. This is going to be fun. So in this case, we lose. Get a different, oh, what do I got here? Yeah, I'm going to get a, oh, here we go. In this case, we lose 6,000 to 401k contributions, 4590 to FICA, and we're going to lose 10,000 times 12%. 1,200, and all right, we got 1,200 there, and then that's $2,000, right? 20,000 times 10%, 2,000. So we're going to lose $3,200 in taxes. Oops. Because tax, your 401k contributions come out pre-tax, but your FICA does not. You don't get a tax deduction off of FICA, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to lose 6,000 plus 4,590 plus 3,200. That's before we even have to factor any states. So we're going to lose 13,790 total. All right. So we take $60,000, which was our gross income. We subtract 13,790. Leaves us with $46,000. And let's do that in green. $46,210. So if we took our delayed earnings credits, we have $44,604. Here we got $46,210. So with nothing else, we're not even using any of this 401k money that we put away, nothing, we have almost the exact same amount as we had gross or net of taxes and 401k contributions. We had $46,210 we're living on while we're working, which is most likely when we're consuming more because we got to drive down to the gas station to commute every day to our crappy old job. We're going to eat out more. We got lunches to take with the friends at work and to gossip about football games or whatever, Outlander or whatever. So we're basically making less. We're making $1,500, $1,600 less than we were making before. Now remember, this is tax-free because it's all from Social Security, it's all tax-free. So this is net and that's net. So basically the question is, are we, I mean, we're basically even Steven, and we haven't factored state taxes either. On top of the fact we haven't factored other stuff, dry cleaning, gas consumption, all that as well. So 46,210, and by the way, people always say, but Josh, you can't forget Medicare. No, you're right, you can't forget Medicare. Let me just talk to you right quick. Let's get rid of this. You can't forget Medicare. Medicare Part B is $135 for each, John and Jane. Part D is $35, and we're going to say they both have Medigap policies. And I think that's probably expensive, but we're going to use that so I can show you. I'm not trying to be over the top in my showing you how this can work easily. So we got Medicare, $135 plus $35 plus $150 is $320 each. $320 each a month. That's $640. Do they have health insurance up here? Yeah. How much is health insurance? I don't know, for the husband, wife, let's say $400. So it is, now this Medigap is probably a little bit on the high end, but let's just use it. I don't care. I mean, because it's so important to understand. For Medicare, with the best supplemental policy you can get, which is Medigap, all right? Now you could eliminate almost all of that with a Medicare Advantage. I'm not a fan of that. But anyway, either way, $640 a month times 12. So what, 7,200, 7,680 equals 7,680. 400 times 12 is 4,800. So when all said and done, without anything else, no savings whatsoever, even though they were put money into their savings account, when all was said and done in their 401k, they're going to have 7,680 minus 4,800. All right, so that's going to be $2,800 less right here. So without earned income, it's going to be $2,800. So they're $2,880, and then they have between these two right 210 minus 44604, $1,600. Combine those plus 2,880. So they're 4,486 less. So they have 4,486 less, and that's without even including any state tax whatsoever. No tax from state or feds, if nothing but Social Security or taxation, nothing whatsoever. So they are living on $4,486 less without having to commute, without having to pay for gas, without having to pay for lunches with everybody, without having to do, I don't know, Secret Santas. I mean, you name it. Without having to do dry cleaning. I'm just telling you right now, $4,486 less, and that's not included. So basically, it's a wash. When all said and done, do you think you pay with state taxes and all the lunches that you have, all the dry clean, all the commute, you're out $5,000? I think yes. So we're basically washing. We're at a wash right here. I have shown you that by simply replacing $60,000 of your median gross income with some simple strategic planning for Social Security, where we're taking it at 70 as opposed to 67, we're at a wash. We haven't touched anything whatsoever. Now, if you want to take it at 67 on either side of the equation, it'll be a little bit more of a stretch. But then the question comes in how much you spend in retirement relative to how much you were spending while you were working. And there we go back to the idea that most people's spending in retirement declines and declines precipitously as well. Some people, because they spend less, even though you think they got more time on their hand, they're just getting older. So they don't want to do as much stuff. Now, would that be you? I don't know. But you can easily retire on $60,000. If you're making $60,000, a median household income in the United States, you can easily retire on Social Security alone. Now, if you had $100,000 and you want to add that to the mix, just be covered because you were putting some money in your 401k. You know, 5% a year, that's $5,000 right there. So there you go. Now it's even better wash. You're $5,000 a year. That's still not taxable as income because your standard deduction is well above the $5,000. So, can you retire if your median income's $60,000 on Social Security? The answer is unequivocally yes. If you have a little bit of money saved up, it's even better. But you can easily retire with $100,000, easily, as long as you do some Social Security planning for sure. Now you can say, well, they wanted to quit at 67. They didn't want to wait till 70. Well, you have to some thinking out you got to do then. Maybe you have more than $100,000 in your 401k. Maybe all you have is $100,000. I don't know. But if all you have is $100,000 and it takes, 3 years for you to wait from 67 until you're 70, you know, that's going to be equivalent of, about 3, you'll be blowing through that $100,000. But then you have $45,000 in Social Security that's tax-free, and it's going to be growing at a cost of living each and every year. So it's doable for sure. I don't get why everyone's so upset. Like, you can never retire until you have $12 million. The facts are right here. You absolutely could. Would I rather you have $100,000? Yes. Would I rather you stay working until you're 70 or at least defer taking Social Security? So remember, deferring taking Social Security and staying working aren't necessarily synonymous. You can still defer taking Social Security while without working. But in this case, you know, we're living longer. So working until 70 isn't crazy man talk. Or you might just go get a part-time job working in the library. I don't know. Something to either A, occupy your time to avoid you taking Social Security to 70 is the way to go for sure. So if you got that $100,000, you're making $10 an hour at the library, and you're working part-time, that'll be another $15,000 a year you're bringing in. Your husband does the same thing. That's $30,000 a year you're bringing in working part-time. You're taking $30,000 a year right there off your IRA, your 401k. So between those two, you're 67, you're working part-time at the library, your husband's working part-time, I don't know, refereeing basketball games for juniors. That's $30,000 a year for both y'all. You guess you're going to take $30,000 a year from your IRA 401k. That's your $60,000 a year. How much of that will be taxable? Well, we're I figured about $4,000 in taxes when all said and done. So you're right back to where you were with your working as median income with your crappy little job with a long commute. And now you're deferring taking Social Security until you're 70. You're like, man, now we got, I don't know, probably $20,000 in our 401k by then because we still left some money in there. We haven't spent the whole thing. It's still accumulated some growth, hopefully. So at $20,000 in our 401k, all of our income needs are covered by Social Security. This grows each and every year with the cost of inflation, cost of living adjustments. Don't have to worry about the markets tanking. You already got Medigap covered. Medicare is covered, Medigap's covered. It just, man, you're in a good place, and ideally you have some equity in your home too. All right, don't forget to subscribe, share the video. If you want to support the channel, thumbs up help, share the video, comments always help, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.